There's a big problem on all modern software teams where developers are pushing out so many new features at lightning fast speed. And no matter how hard they try, the marketing team just can't keep up, whether it's an in-house team or an agency, freelancers, you just can't get enough people on staff to keep up and continue to make content and assets that reflect the state of the product in its current state because the changes are happening so fast. That is the problem that this company today is trying to fix. Yes, the company is called tday, tday, all lowercase. Very cool company, very cool branding, and an amazing story behind it. So let's dive right in and take a look at their homepage, their funnel, see what story they're telling, see what their messaging is all about, and see if we can give any fixes, recommendations to make this even better. My name is Xander. I break down funnels and content strategy for AI tools, dev tools, all kinds of SaaS. So let's get right to it. Now, as always, let's start with the big idea, the headline, the H1. See what we got. Your code ships, we make it famous. Okay, let's check out the subheader. Every release becomes a complete launch package. Demo videos, social posts, and brand match graphics generated and published the day you ship. So this software is mind-blowing. They're able to connect directly to your code repository and your website. So they're able to extract all the key details of a new feature or a new product rollout and match them with all of your branded assets from your site and turn it into these amazing full motion demo videos, launch videos, tutorials, and everything is the right colors, the right graphics, everything is on brand. It's super consistent. Then it blasts it out on social. It can turn it into ads. It can turn it into all these different types of assets. And they give you some examples of what it can do. I would like to see some videos embedded here or maybe just some static shots. It gives you the option to go autopilot mode where it just automatically pushes out the new videos, the new graphics onto social. You know, I assume most marketers will want to look things over before it's blasted out online, but it's a cool feature. Then they show all the channels that it can format for, all the different channels it can connect with. So that covers, you know, the full spectrum of social media, all that. Then they have some examples from real products. These are kind of spec demos, it looks like, but you can see how this thing works in action. If you click on the videos, they do look good. It's very clear. The motion graphics look great. And then your standard FAQ and CTA at the bottom. Now, this is where it gets interesting because we're getting into some higher level concepts in marketing and positioning and what it means to kind of pick a lane. So based on what we just saw from today's homepage, it looks like they're trying to hit that top level of the funnel, the awareness, you know, promoting your stuff on social media, having these automated social posts that go out, show all this new stuff that you're rolling out to your audience because everybody cares about the features that you roll out. They want to see the updates. They want to see those new things, and they want to see it on social where everybody hangs out. Top of funnel marketing requires a very specific kind of content. It's meant to capture attention. It's meant to be your very first impression of a brand. So if all the content that a company is pushing out daily or maybe multiple times per day with every new pull request or every new merge, a social media feed is going to be overloaded with all these kind of demo motion product videos that are like 5 to 15 seconds long. And these are videos that show the in-depth, the front lines development stuff that developers are pushing out. And that's not ideal for the discovery and the interest levels of the funnel. And you need to make a strong, clear first impression of what a product does, what it is, what it can do for you. And keep in mind, a big launch for a company, especially a small SaaS company, I mean, really, they only get one big launch where they introduce themselves to the world. We'll get into that for us in a second. But I think what today is better suited at making is kind of this like middle to even bottom of funnel stuff. This is where you already have somebody's attention. They already kind of know what they're getting into. And now they want to start digging into the deeper features of what the product can do, different use cases, these advanced topics where they need to find out more before they eventually click the buy button or hit the subscription button and add it to their stack. So what I see here is maybe a bit of a misalignment from what today is pushing on their site, which is go straight to social media, flood your feed with all this cool feature stuff. That kind of content does serve a purpose, but it's not top of funnel. It's more in the middle and the bottom. Now check this out. This is a different kind of interpretation of the sales funnel. You can see that on the left side, this is your classic sort of awareness, interest, conversion funnel. But then in the middle, something interesting happens. When the buyer does make the commit, the company and the customer enter into this mutual commitment to achieving beneficial impact. Okay, this is where I see the Today product really shining, because these frequent update videos, these product demos, these tutorials, these how-to type videos, they will make the most impact during selection, during the commit, during onboarding, adoption, and expansion. Because for modern SaaS companies, this is where the money is made. The awareness and the education selection, that's important. But that recurring revenue, the ARR, that can only happen under certain conditions where the company is in full alignment with the customer. The onboarding is perfect. They have these resources like Today can provide. And then they go on to these long-term contracts where they do need support. They do need those demo videos, all those updates, every new thing that happens, they need to be informed. if it's done right and the value is properly conveyed to the customer and they adopt it correctly and implement it, that's when these super long-term contracts can take hold. Now let's go to their X page because this is great. They just had a big day. They got their backing from Y Combinator and they put out their first launch video. And there's also a bit of an irony that I want to point out here, which kind of furthers my point. So the launch video that this team put out is kind of like a sketch comedy thing. It's really funny. It's charming. You see these guys' personalities. It's relatable. It's fun. The video is doing really well. It did great on LinkedIn. So that's what a great launch video can look like. Now, if we go back to the Today homepage, a big part of what they offer is launch videos, right? So they claim that they can generate these AI launch videos just going right into your code base and from your website, and you can have a launch video that will perform great, and it's your big introduction to the world. They didn't follow their own advice. They went and recorded this, kind of high production launch video in San Francisco, in New York. Some of them might be AI, but it's well done, and it has like a human element to it. It has the human spirit. And you can scroll down their page and see what posts perform well versus which ones didn't perform so well. Like here's one of the founders with Gary Tan. He tells this great story. He couldn't get a visa through with his passport. He's from Nepal, and Gary wrote him a letter. And so now he was able to make it to the US in time for this launch and record the video. So that type of content performs very well. Now we scroll down to these AI generated launch videos or these product videos. Of course, they didn't record their full launch video with this, but you can see what they look like and kind of the purpose that they serve. And they look good, but it just looks like another feature on top of features, and they're stacked, and they kind of lose impact with each one that you look at. One like here, one like there, another post with low engagement, low view count. And then they have another goofy founder post where they're dressed up like OpenClaws and they get 300 likes, right? So I think that Today can compete way better and build their moat around the right side of the bow tie. Okay. So after that commit has been made, this is customer success. This is adoption. This is long-term value. And look, I understand everybody wants to talk about top of funnel because it's fun. It's crazy. It's exciting. It's the stuff that hooks you and brings you in, and it's like advertising at its finest. But this is where I suggest Today maybe repositioning a little bit and focusing on these post-commit, post-sale elements of the funnel that people don't really talk about but are super important. So congrats to the guys over at Today. Amazing launch video. This technology is incredible. I think that there are so many directions they can go with. But like I said, there is a really strong lane that they can take here, and I think that that's where they can do best. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I do audits like this all the time on my channel. Follow me here. Follow me on socials. I'll see you later.